1946. The name Maeve was written on the board in a very prominent place. Congratulations, Loretto College Tavern, on securing first place in the Inter-Loretto examination. Maeve Hughes, our star pupil, has brought this honor and glory to us.
When I was in the B.Ed, I had some very, what I thought were brilliant ideas. One of them was a change in the methodology of teaching the B.Ed students. And it was quite radical, actually. It didn't come out in my mind. I bought a book at a book fair, and it was absolutely superb. Just fitted what I needed. So I went to Sister Maeve, who was the principal of the college, and I said, do you mind if I introduce this? And I told her about it. And she was so supportive. She said, yes, just go ahead and do it. You know what she said? Do it, damn it. And then I did introduce it. It's a way of getting them to practice different ways and methods of getting through to students and encouraging them to take over, sometimes in the classroom. And there are many little ways that we've forgotten as teachers, eye contact and all sorts of things. And we introduced what was called micro-teaching, which has been taken over, but I think it's done in a different way now. But I found her very encouraging because I often had thoughts about introducing new things. And that's one thing I would give her kudos for. She really was outstanding like that. Never put a spoken away. Never. And I'll always be grateful to her for that. Lovely person. Thank you.
How do you speak about somebody that has been close to you? And how do you speak about somebody who has helped you so much over the years? When I came to the college, I knew very little about administration of a college and very little about handling staff of a college. I used to phone Sister Maeve in Ranchi, and she told me exactly how to go about things. And when I was leaving for Ranchi after I finished my active life, I remember, and I was so touched, she sent me a WhatsApp saying, "Come soon, Tina, come soon." And we were like Darby and Joan. We'd sit outside and talk. We'd talk about Yeats. We'd talk about, recite the Lake Isle of Innisfree together. She would fight with me very often, but knowing me, I would fight back. So we got on very well. And God was good. She had to come away from Ranchi that she loved so much. But the provincial had to say to her, "Maeve, you're only going for a checkup." And that's the only reason why this strong woman agreed to love the people that she had adopted as her own. Rarely do you find a woman that can turn around 60 degrees after retirement and start a new life and make such an impact on the people that she helped and loved. When she came here, I must say I missed her very much when she left Ranchi. But here, God was good, because I can say that I spent so much time with her. That brilliant mind was wandering towards the end, but that's what God does with us. I mean, we make an offering saying, it's called the Sume et Sushipe, that Ignatius had. And it says, "Take, O Lord, my will, my memory, my understanding, my whole will." I haven't quoted it, but one can see she died at 96 years of age, and she would have been at 97, a human woman that few would see the softness in her, but a brilliant woman, and a woman that God would be proud to call his own, and the college will never forget.
Honoring Maeve here. Maeve, I've known her for years and years and years when she was Bernadine, and we were teachers then. I used to say, oh, Bernadine, when she used to be walking around saying her beads. And later I met her in college. I was frightened of her. But then I went to Glaston School, where she was very good to me. Very, very good. And then I met her since then in Ranchi, and here again in this house before she died. She was always smiling, very, very nice, always looking for company, and very, very helpful. Always so cheerful. She'd sing and she had her moods as well. She was good. I missed her very much when she left. She was next to me. Her room was beside me when she passed away so suddenly and so quiet. So thank you so much for honoring her again. Because she was a real giant and has contributed so much to education in Calcutta. Thank you so much.
Well, Maeve was a legend in Ranchi, where she lived for a very long time and where I used to be in and out. So we were good friends there. And she was really amazing right to the end, because even though she knew she was getting she didn't like to say older, but she was feeling, well, some things are getting less. She still was so independent. She still was clear-headed. When I first went, we used to do the crossword every evening. The crossword and the telegraph and the jumblies, and she enjoyed all that. She was very, very, very full of stories and memories, and young people liked listening to her, and she did a wonderful work in Jharkhand. She went to Jharkhand after that stroke of hers, and she got to know every part of Jharkhand. She could almost tell the Jharkhandis all about it, knew all about the tribes and their customs, and of course she did a lot of educational work there too. It was great knowing her till the end, because no matter what, she kept going. What she said when she felt a little, I'm getting deaf and I'm getting, I don't see so well. But she had a little saying, well, what God wants, God gets. So everything was part of life for God, which was really, and the independence. The only thing she would say, she loved going home to Ireland for the little holiday, but she loved coming back too. And That was her thing. She would say, now, Christopher, we've got to get ready for the journey. And so we'd sit down and do all the paperwork and the packing of things. Right to the last time she went, I think she went alone when she was 93. But still, only, yes, you know what I have to take, so go. We get ready. But she went. So I have very, very fond memories of her. And of course, when she was in the college, I think I was in the TTC, so she used to. That's when I got to know her. Of course, in the college, she was. Made sure that the TTCs didn't make a noise when they came down. But it was great. She was such a wonderful. She had such a wonderful memory, and she knew so many things about the history of Loreto and all that. It was great knowing her.
And she loved the old hymns. So one of the things that brought her great joy was Sister Lourdes singing. And if she could only hear on her deathbed, which she probably did, but afterwards, Sister Lourdes sang again. And this particular hymn, Mother of Christ, was one of her favorites.
What shall I ask of thee? I do not strive for the wealth of earth, for the joys that fade and flee. But, Mother of Christ, this do I ask of thee. When the voyage is o'er, oh, stand on the shore and show me at last thee.
I'm Mamta Chaudhry. Like so many of you assembled here today, I'm remembering the happier assemblies of our college days when Sister Maeve would be waiting to start our day with prayers and announcements. And I was inevitably late, so I would rush in through the back gate and try to slip into the hall unnoticed. But nothing escaped Sister Maeve's eagle eyes, and those eyes could also twinkle with amusement. She had a surprising sense of humor for someone who was so staid. Once I wrote a poem about our college canteen, and it was published in the Illustrated Weekly of India. And you remember the college canteen where we ate so many greasy samosas and drank so many sugary drinks? Oh, the days of our youth. In any case, Sister Maeve congratulated me on the poem, and she said, "But I do wish, Mamta, you had left one word out." And that word was a bad word that began with S and ended with T, which seems kind of quaint these days, doesn't it? So I just said, "Pardon my French, sister," and we both laughed. And when my novel, Haunting Paris, was published, I made it a point to tell her that all the bad words in it were in French. I thanked her then, and I want to thank Sister Maeve now for everything that she taught me about literature and about life.
My name is Elizabeth Chaco. I was an undergraduate majoring in geography at Loreto College from 1978 until 1981, and then a faculty member from 1985 until 1990. I have to admit that as an undergraduate, I was wary of Sister Maeve, and even as a new faculty member, I was somewhat intimidated by her. But over time, I realized that behind her demeanor was a person who cared deeply about the academic accomplishments and well-being of her students and staff. She was strict when she needed to be, but she was always fair. Every decision she made, every policy she shaped was grounded in integrity and the belief that education is a pathway to empowerment. As the principal of Loreto College, she guided the institution to new heights with vision and purpose. Her standards were high because she believed deeply in the potential of every single Loretoite. She taught us that excellence is not an act, but a habit. And she was always intellectually curious and reminded us that learning is a lifelong journey. It is said that true leaders do not create followers, they create other leaders. Sister Maeve embodied this truth in every sense. To current and future administrators and leaders, she remains a beacon, a model of leadership that balances authority with empathy and discipline with understanding. She leaves behind her a legacy of achievement and an enduring inspiration to pursue knowledge with purpose. Thank you, Sister Maeve, for showing us what true leadership and true learning look like.
Hello friends, I was in Loreto many decades ago, and at that time Sister Maeve wore a white habit with a dark blue head covering. But what I remember about her, as though I saw her yesterday, was her sparkling blue eyes, her ramrod straight gait, and her walking the corridors, stopping and taking the time to talk to people. I came to Loreto from Presidency College, and at Presidency there were very few rules that students had to follow. So coming to Loreto and finding that I was going to be one of the professors who was going to impose some of the rules was initially quite a shock to my system. But over the nearly 2 years that I was there, I grew into it. And not the least because Loreto felt like a small, intimate place, and it certainly was not that small. But I think the tenor was set by the principal, and that is Sister Maeve. Many decades later, as I participate in the collective mourning and try to recall Sister Maeve's memory, one of the things that stands out for me is that even though I moved to the University of Connecticut, where I teach and I'm a dean, over the years I've heard so many stories from so many of you, and including my cousin Srila Roy and my sister-in-law Shumita Ghosh, that Sister Maeve has remained a presence, always the center of something good information. And that's the way I'll remember her. You're all mourning and you have many more memories and a lot more experience and time you have shared with her. I'm on the edges of that. Nonetheless, with great sincerity, I also wish to join your collective mourning today.